welcome back to Oakley Hour. Make the channel where I make the mistakes so you don't have to. And as you know, I make quite a few. So today is new build day, so it doesn't tell you too much from the box of what it is. It's not particularly heavy, so I'm not imagining it's lots of parts. It's made from ecological wood product, where you can read these, I'm sure. And also the only other thing on this box is here. It's not sealed. Kind of looks like something was in this spot at some point, but I don't know. And it came kind of just in a box. So this is what we have. We have some marbles here, screwdriver, electrical box, and a switch by the looks of it. Looks like a switch. Got some screws. Looks like some sandpaper in here. I don't believe it's meant to have any glue with it. We have a card. Okay, so it's just saying that it can't send the battery, glue, wax blocks. I didn't think it was meant to have glue on it, but maybe it does. And then we have our boards. So let's get our boards out and our instructions by the looks of it. So I've never done anything by Black Bear, and I don't believe. Can't recall doing anything anyway. So let's get this open. This is in plastic, and it's probably, one of those A3 sheets, which are a bit of a pain in the butt to work with, but we will do what we got to do. So it is a marble run, and so before we go through that, we have some plastic pieces which are quite loose in their forms, so go careful with those. It's better, to be honest with you, to be loose than not. It makes it a bit easier to pull out. Okay, this one's very loose, and these are our pieces. Let me get back off of there as well. And then these are the pieces. Okay, maybe I'll put some colour on this. I quite like the so it's four sheets you've got, so it's going to be quite straightforward, I think. So this is C, D, came in order. That's always nice. A and B. So those are your 4 sheets there, and then you have a plastic sheet and this. And I will have a look at these instructions and see how they're working and where we're even starting in a moment, but there we have it. So let me have a look at how these are working. It looks like it's going to be steps, so let me get that going and we will see where we go. Okay, looking at the book, it is in steps, and it's got 16. So we're going to be using cocktail sticks for this, and go through here and see how it all looks in the end. So I'm going to go and pull some parts and let's see how far we can get today. It may not be a long build, as it's only 16 pages or 16 steps. We will see. Alright, so that's pretty much what we need for part 1. We are going to start off with this piece, E10, and look in that direction from what I could tell. And we are going to be putting in metal poles, which are in here. Okay, so like I'm saying, they're in here. So we are going to need our wax, which isn't provided on this one, and you will need the tool, although I don't think I'm going to, because I'm going to do it a slightly different way. The tool, if you're looking for it, is on sheet D. Took me probably about 20, well, not 20 minutes, but probably about a good 10 minutes to find the thing. So you are going to want 5 of these, not this one. Let me go and get the right one. This one's too small. And we will be needing 6 of these. So let me go and get the right part. Okay, there it is. So they're 45 millimeters, so 4.5 centimeters in length, if that's the way you're going. So what they want you to do is put them through here in the middle hole, and then put the collar on. But I don't see the logic in that, so I'm going to put the collars on first. Like so, get them all the way on. and then thread them through from the top. Isn't that more logical to do it that way? And there's two which are slightly different, which is up here, this one and this one, where they want the collars, as I drop it, they want the collars all the way into these holes. So 1 second, let me find the missing piece. Okay, got that. So I'm going to get these all on first. And I don't see why you'd put it through the wood before. And that one's too long. Or is it? Now I'm starting to wonder if I've got the right pieces. Oh, horses. 4.5. You know they're not. I need longer. These are 3.5. All right, back up the truck. Okay, never mind it. So it was kind of right. So you need one which is the longer one, and then you need 4 of the smaller ones. And for the 6th one, it doesn't tell you. I'm thinking it's one of the longer ones because we don't have enough of the others. So the 2 longer ones go towards the bottom here, this side of the thing, and the 4 smaller ones carry on going up the part. So just get these all in. So I accidentally kind of got it right. And there wouldn't have been enough. I'm just checking now my little pot. No, there wouldn't have been enough anyway doing it the other way, so it would have to have been this way. Thought I got that one in and I didn't. So it just makes more logical sense for me to do this way round rather than the other way, and I don't see any reason why you wouldn't be able to. So let's get these in. So the smaller ones all go from the bottom and they go into the middle one, and you want to have it that opposite way up. So you want it that your first bend is going that way. So these are, it's a longer one. Good that I give you good instructions, right? Then this one goes in the middle also, and then we start with the smaller ones going all the way in the middle like so until they get to this way, and they would fall out one way or another. Well, this is not a tight fit. I was expecting it to be a lot tighter. It is not. Okay, let's get these ones in again, and we'll just hold it down then. I was going to say maybe that's why they get you to do it from the other way, but I don't think so. And we are going to be, like I say, waxing parts today as well in this step. I think that's what they mean, is really. More hands. I've had my breakfast. Can't really say much. Okay, and then these two fit in here, and you kind of think that they're going to be a really tight fit, but they're really not, unless they're going to go into this slot as well, like up here, but no, they're not. They're just going to sit here. Okay, next we are going to take this, and it has plastic on both sides, so let me get that peeled. I love peeling this stuff. I know I say it every time I have to do it. It's like almost I buy models just so I can do it. You know what I mean? We all have our things. Just happens to be one of many of mine. Okay, that's one side. Let's get this one going, and this stuff's quite easy to peel off. It's going to have a glass effect. And then the next thing we are going to be doing is putting in the cocktail sticks. And what I've done is I've got everything ready for step 1. I'm pretty sure we can get more than step 1 done. Okay, and then we want to make sure that this big circle part corresponds with this piece up here. So I'm going to put it in here first, because I think that's going to be a lot easier, although I think they're going to fall out anyway. There is no right or wrong way, I'm thinking, on this. Wow, okay. So let's put this in on the others. And then we do our little loose ones, and they are very loose. And put that one in as well. Last one, come on. Don't lift up the wood. Okay. The effort was real, guys. It shouldn't be, but it was. Alright, next we are going to put in 12 toothpicks with the pointy side upwards, and these are going to fit in all the other holes that we have. So it has to go through, point upwards, has to go through the plastic and the and they've got lines on them as well. Can you see at the bottom? Put those in. And of course these aren't all the way in because they're being held up by the other ones anyway. Anyway, whatever. Right, so just keep going down and putting those all in. And then we are going to start working on our cogs, which are, very helpfully, all numbered, and they need to be the number side up when we put them in. But it also says to make sure that you polish both sides to remove burring and chafing, which indicates to me sanding, but I actually wonder. Oh, and then wax to prevent one. I've already sanded them. I sand them before I get to you. This one's a little firmer. Let's put this one in. Maybe there's a slight difference in size on some of them. There you go. Oops. Nothing like doing it the opposite way. I guess this one's just a little bit thicker at the end or something. And we have 2 spares by the looks of it. I don't know if they get used later. Let me put those over in my spare area along with the little elastic band that we had. Okay, so next are these pieces. So in order, we are going to have, let's get them all up. So I'm thinking, I think that all of it needs waxing would be my guess, and I don't want to wax them on it. So 6 is going to be at the top here, followed by CO8. Don't know why it has a 0 in it rather than just 08, but okay. C22 is next, CO6 is next, C22, and then A05 is down here. So let's get waxed. I'm not going to put you through the pain of watching me wax everything, but I'll do the first one and I'll get the first one on. So I think we'll start from the bottom, getting that done, which is A05. I don't know why this piece is A. Maybe it's slightly different. I don't know. So I'm going to do the surface as well as the edges here. So and I'm using this one. I did yesterday, by the way, and I forgot to mention it on the video. Maybe I should go back and add it as a comment. But I did go back and wax it with this stuff to make sure it ran a bit better. And any catching was not done on the main assembly. It was actually done through putting the bow on. So you've got to be really careful on putting that bow on as to making sure that the, you know, it goes in and you've got all the sleeve covers on properly. and they really have to be pushed down. I did actually go ahead and glue some of them into the right spot, and I forgot to tell you this, guys, on the last one. Alright, so we have 4 holes and a middle hole, and it's going to go in to the bigger 2 holes. I'm guessing it's not going to fit on the others anyway, and you want it with the number up, so it's going to go like, not like that, come back, so like that, and then this middle one in between, like so, and push it, I'm thinking, all the way down, so something like that. It's very waxy there, and I'm going to do the same on all the rest. So let me get them waxed and put on, and we can move on to step 2. I will come back and show you. Okay, so a little update on this. So the holes you need are the small ones. So there's 2 bigger ones on either side and 2 smaller ones. And if you notice, they're more of a curved angle. So you want to make sure that that curved angle matches the way these are. So these are slightly curved. So even though it's the right number up, it has to match that curve as well. So I found this out after putting them all on and having to take them all off. So then you can find that they slide in quite well. If you try and do it the other way, it distorts that middle pin and it pushes it all the way like outwards at an angle. So you can see that even though they're not centered, they are close enough. So now I'll go and do the rest. Okay, these are all greased and on. So just make sure you get the pattern in the right directions, and it is the small holes, even though it doesn't really tell you that on the instructions. The wax I use, in case you aren't aware, is this one. I just got it from Amazon. Getting close to the end of it now, but I've been using that. It's stinky stuff. It reminds me of not Vicks, but something like Vicks that you use if you've got a cold. So the next part we are doing, we're now on step 2, is we have all these little circles and this piece, which doesn't go there, it goes on this one, and these all need waxing as well. And you want to wax in the outside of the cogs, or you wax in the whole thing? I think the whole thing again. So let me do that. And then we're going to do yet another waxing element, so lots of waxing. So again, all I'm going to do is go around the edge and then both sides. There is a lot of waxing. Pretty much every part that's going on this section needs some sort of, oh, you didn't see a thing of that. I will do another one so you really don't miss out. It's not that complicated, this bit. And then those are going to pop in, remembering which direction they go in. And there's the small holes. Let me just get it hanging there for a minute. Do another one and then I'll push it in. It should be easier to push in compared to the first time, and you know the pattern now that it's got that curve, so you can make sure it goes on the right way. So like this one will go around that way, so like this, and then it should just slide down, she says. Ow, ow, got me. Okay, that wasn't meant to happen. Wasn't meant to get myself with the cocktail stick, but I definitely stabbed myself there. And it's a little tighter than the others. So then you think, should it be the other holes? But I don't think so. It's all about the way that the curves are facing. Okay, that's not even on there. There we go. Oops. Right, let me get the rest of those on, and we can put that aside while we do this piece afterwards. So I'll show you what we got. Alright, an error I made, by the way, is all of these do have a number on. So like this one says I2. I2 is in this position over here. So you want to make sure that they are in the correct positions with the numbers upwards and facing it. I wouldn't have thought they're any different to each other. They said don't look it, but that's what it says to do. It has to be in that sort of position. So when I get them on, and it's much more of a, like I said, it's a bit tighter than the other ones we did. I'm sure I get easier as we continue to do them. Right, let's get that in. Right, so let's see. So I4, which I put on here, is in this position. I5 is this one. 3 is this one. No, I got it all wrong. I6, I5, I4, I3, I2, and I1, or 1-1. I don't know which way around it is, but like I say, this one's not waxy, but to see it a bit better, but it says I6, so that's the first one that's going to go on here, where I try to put the other one. I don't know if it makes a difference, they all look the same to me, but that's how they say it should go. So, and then some on the back here as well. Again, not sure how much lubricant you want, and you want to check your pattern so that there's 3 smaller ones which form the arc are going on the right way. Didn't even bleed from that little stabbing I had. How rude it was. I mean, they're all quite tight in reality, so. And push that down. And they're really close to the edge. This one particularly here is so close to the edge. I'm surprised it doesn't break. And I don't know what I'd do if it does, because I don't think there's any spare parts. Alright, let me squeeze that down and get these others on. Okay, so those are all in and waxed, and you can see that they do have the numbers, they're all pointing upwards, and they are in the right order. We can put this to one side for the moment. Those still want to come out, by the way. So with this particular part, what you want to do, what you're looking for, is this piece up here. And this piece is going to go in there, and you want it, if you can see this piece, has a curve at the end, and you want the curve to be facing downwards, like so. And that just needs pushing in, so just make sure that this is the right way round. Push that in the right way, not the wrong way, and push it all the way through to the end, which probably will be harder than I anticipate, maybe, I don't know. There we go, and it does literally reach to the end here, so then you know you've got it in all the way. Something that didn't have to be waxed. I like this for a change. And then we are going to put this on here, the opposite way to how we just put it in. So it's got the straight part at the top. I'm just making sure that this is right. Makes me nervous. But it looks right. It does look right. And that just sits around the cogs here, and I guess it's going to have the marbles running through. I'd imagine, I'd be 100% certain that's what's happening. Just make sure. I mean, these, as much as they want these ones flush, these 2 top ones at the bottom, they have no way to stay in there right now, so we will no doubt work on that. Next we are going to put loads more of these on, and they are again in a certain order, but these ones, although they don't say that there's a certain order, they have numbers, so I'm going to follow the same step as what I did for the one below, because it doesn't really say, so I'll have it in the same order. So 2, 1 will go over, which way was it? 2, 1 goes over here, so it would go over here. So first of all we need, let's get it in the order, A18 is the first one this time, CO7, and there's 2 of some of them, CO7, C24, there's one of these, CO7 again, and one of those, CO9, I've pulled too many, what do you know? And then C24, we don't need this one. Okay, and again, you want to make sure that the numbers are going to be up and that they're fully waxed. So let me do that. I might as well do the whole thing and then I'll just show you after it's done rather than you see me do it all over again. Alright, I've done this one. So all I've done is put the wheel on here and also the cog. So this is 26 at the bottom and A18, which had the number pointing upwards. So I'll get and do the rest. So this step is complete, then that'd be step 2 done. So let me get and do that. Okay, and we are back with step 3, which are lots more pieces. So first of all, we are going to make sure that this is the right way and it has positions on it, so that's helpful. So position 6, 1 and 2. So put these over. I think these cocktail sticks, by the way, will end up coming out. And then we are going to do several of these B11s. I'm sure I did get the burrs off them, but no, I'm starting to wonder. That one looks like it's still got one. Let me grab my thing. Thing being a sounding stick, of course. Alright, and yet again, we are going to be greasing them, making sure that they are in the right position. So this one is 3, 4, and 3, 4 will go on number 4, and they're facing the right way in the little holes. I didn't do the top and bottom. I actually don't understand how this process is going to work really, but you also want your numbers up. So let's get those in. Like so. And then we carry on and do the rest of these. Each one of these types of things, we do seem to have one spare. So let me get those done. Okay, now that is done, we have 6 of these rings. And again, they all have numbers on. That one's number 2, which depict which positions they are on the board. Same as these, but I don't think these matter. So again, everything's waxed. And then we're going to do putting some screws in. This is where my brain doesn't comprehend how this is working. I'm sure it will make all logical sense in the end. So this is number 2. So I can get this one done. And you just got to make sure that all the teeth interlock. I love a bit of mind games as to not quite knowing where they're all going and how it works, so that's okay. And that's the mysteries of these types of builds sometimes, is how is that working? Because when you put screws in it, surely nothing turns, but maybe it does. Maybe it all turns. So this is number 2. Again, you want to make sure the numbers are up. And number 2 is going to go in this one, and you're corresponding again with the smaller circles all facing the correct way. Squeeze it down, and that goes on. So let me get the rest of those done. Okay, those are all in. So the things to bear in mind is each of them have a line, and you want to make sure that the lines are matching with the cog that it joins up to. So it's like a continuation of the line. So, and that's why I think they have to be in special order. Otherwise I think they're the same. Right, next, which is where my confusion starts to come in, we are putting screws in to them. So we're putting one in this one, oops, and this one, but we're not putting them in all of them. And then we're avoiding this one. I don't know what it did wrong. Maybe it's because it's got this other part coming from it. But we certainly put them in all the rest in the middle. It says if you need, take out the cocktail sticks in order to fit them in, but then you have to put them back in anyway, I think. So this is the time when you want to make sure that your 1 and 2 are situated on the inside, which mine pretty much far, if not too far for that one. And then we will screw these down with a screwdriver, which they provided. But I'm probably just going to use the closest one to hand, because that's over there with all the spare parts and the boards, which are all lined up. And then we're going to put some sleeve covers on, and again there's a difference on that. So this one will have 2 on top of each other, and then the rest, except this one, no, I think even this one has 1 on the peg in the middle, which is a longer one. So that's kind of how that's going. Right, let's get this screwdriver going. I think I'm going to use, I had another one which was a little bit longer. Let's see if I can find that where I may have placed it. I have a lot of screwdrivers. Right, bear with me. Right, going to use this one. This was from the butterfly build. And all we do is screw them all the way down. They do say, like I say, remove the cocktail sticks if you want, but then you're going to have to put them back on anyway. So this is the time to make sure that everything is lined up. I mean, I am guessing that the cocktail sticks will come out. And then when you put the shafts on, they go on top of these screws to cover them up to an extent. So let me check that this is going all the way through, which I'm not going to see it from that end, are we? And then do all of it all the way down, so every one but this one, the number 5 position. And I'm thinking we probably, maybe we've done all the waxing now and we don't need to do any more waxing, but I couldn't swear to that. Okay, and all the way. And it does say when you put the sleeves on, the should not be pressed too tightly, so they need to have some sort of movement, the same as these need to be able to move afterwards. So let me get the rest of the screws in, then we will see if we can move them, I guess. Try to turn a single one, yeah, okay, and see if it all works. So let's get these screws in and we will give that a go. Okay, so it says make sure it moves. I was thinking it was going to fully move, but I think these toothpicks are stopping it doing that, so you just want to see that there's some movement. So I actually unscrewed them all because I was thinking that maybe they were too tight, and that's why, but I think it's to do with the toothpicks. So I'm just going to go along and re-screw them up, because they do all move and interlock okay, but don't worry about doing it too tight. I'm thinking just do it loose, so we can't test it as much as it says if the gear is, try to turn a single gear after the screws in. It doesn't really mean exactly what I think that would mean. It just means that the gears should move somewhat, but they're not going to fully move. Alright, so I think that is, oh, I was in the middle of doing this, sorry, someone came to the door and I forgot what I was doing. So I'm not tightening them, I'm just putting them down at a reasonable, I think it doesn't need to be tightened, or maybe it does. It says you can pull back the screws. I don't know anymore. Anyway, next we're going to put these sleeves on, and for this we need 1 on all of them, and then except this one, even then it might need 1, I can't tell, and then this one for 2, and they will go over where the screws are. So let me get that done and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, and that's step 3 complete. So it is 1 for all of them, none for this one currently, I think in step 4, because I looked forward a bit because I wasn't sure what they were talking about, and it's actually 3 on this one. So those are all in, they all have a wiggle, if nothing else, pretty much nothing else. So I've tightened the screws down, and they are all in. I think when we take these pegs out at some point, then we will be able to, it will work. That's the idea anyway, I think. At the moment it's got a little bit of wiggle, some more than others. That one's got less wiggle. this one has as well, and that one I could see was moving a bit, and this one a little. So I think that's how it's meant to be. So I think we will leave it on step 3 for today. I think that's probably quite long enough. And yes, thank you very much for watching. I'm actually quite excited to see how this is going to work because it looks so complex. I mean, I can see that this is where your marble is going to run through, but it's incredibly complex, isn't it, for a little thing here. Alrighty, must stop playing with that. So let's, on step 4, I think we carry on working on this section. So we will start with putting some washers or the shaft sleeves on here, followed by some big wheels, evidently, which will also need gluing, waxing even. So me thinking that my waxing days were done is not the case. We'll be putting more on here. And also some other screws and things like that will be going on this one. So we'll be getting that one finished, and then that will be this part done. It doesn't say to take out the pegs yet, I don't think, and just trying to see if it does anywhere. Yes. So step 4, we will be taking all these toothpicks out, so then we can test it to see if it actually does anything. So that's what we have to look forward to. I hope to get step 4, step 5, we start assembling the dragon, and then hopefully get on. It would be nice if we get to step, I was going to say 6, but I think 6 is huge. Maybe that's step 7. Okay, it'd be nice if we can get up to step 7, and 7 and 8 and 9 start working on the roller coaster bit that goes round and round. So hopefully we'll get at least to step 7 or 6, and we should be able to do that, right? Anyway, please do leave any comments. I am really enjoying this build. I've been looking at this one for a little while. Fancy something a little bit different than just normal marble runs, so I'm looking forward to how dragony it is as such. I haven't put any colours on this yet. I don't think it overly needs it, but maybe when we start putting the dragon on, I'll be like, well, actually maybe I should colour the eye if it has an eye. I don't even know what it's like. Anyway, yes, thank you very much for watching. Do leave any comments. I will get back to you, or you can email me if you're a little shy. My email address is right at the end of this video. Just watch the bit about Juliet as a puppy and you will see it. Anyway, please like and subscribe, and thank you all for those who have been supporting the channel and subscribed to it. I really appreciate it. Appreciate all of you, and do take care of yourselves, and I will see you for step 4 tomorrow, and hopefully we can test this little baby and see what it does, because I am fascinated. I'm not even sure where the ball goes in. Oh, it goes in here. I can see where it's going to go in. All right, okay, I'll see you then. Take care, bye. Bye, guys.